Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's your girl Beauty. Today y'all is gonna be kind of a different video. I don't know. I been praying about it and I've been trying to figure out what I wanted to post next. Of course, I had some things that I could have posted, but this kept coming back to me. So I can't believe I'm opening up so much online when I wouldn't even open up to people in person. So before we begin this video, guys, please comment, like, share, subscribe. Comment down below what you guys think about the video. If it helps you in any type of way. My testimony, of course. But make sure you share with your friends and family, co-workers, you know, all that. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it. Of me and how I cope with depression. Yes, your girl has coped through some depression in her life from being a child not wanted to being sexual assaulted, mentally, physically, all that. So this is how I dealt with it. I'm not sad about it, guys. I'm just want to give you guys my testimony. Hopefully my testimony will help somebody else. The last video that I made, my mom's boyfriend molested me. I received so much backlash from not people on social media, but from family. So I decided, no, I'm not going to take it down. Because, you know, I feel like God gave me to discuss what I was going through, so maybe it'll help somebody else. And guys, I can't tell you the women that reached out to me, telling me their stories and just different things, and it was like, wow, I wouldn't even, you know, have imagined so many people have dealt with this issue. So, with that being said, I want to talk to you guys how I've dealt with the depression. It started back, I would say early 2000. 2000, I want to say 4 to be exact. I became like, I had never been depressed before, like to where I was feeling at that time in 2004. So I was like really, really depressed, and I felt like I didn't have anybody to trust. And my grandmother that raised me, before she passed, a couple years before that, I was able to call her every single day and talk to her about, you know, different things that I was going through and different things that I was feeling. And, you know, she always would tell me, pray, baby, you know. And, of course, I wasn't into church as much back then because I felt like I grew up in church. I felt like I was just churched out. Like, when I became an adult where I could just get out of church, because I was just like, hey, I've been to church since I was a little kid, and we used to go to church at 8 o'clock at night, and sometimes we wouldn't get out to maybe 6, 5, 7, I should say 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And remember, we done been to church since 8 o'clock the night before. My grandma used to say, church all night is all right. I used to take my pillow and blanket to church because I already knew I was going to sleep. I'm just like, hey, we've been in church all night. So when I get older and I move out, I'm gone. I'm running. But you know what, y'all? It was those times that being in church all night, it helped your girl. It helped me mentally. I mean, with some of the things that, I mean, because I was always a private person. So I didn't like to call a lot of people and just put my business out there. You know, so I kept a lot of things to myself because I had my kids. So I really didn't have any friends. I really didn't feel like I had time for friends because I had 3 kids. I was just like, hey, I'm raising 3 kids. I don't have time to be hanging out. So I really didn't have a whole lot of friends back, you know, being younger. I just had my cousins and my siblings. So when I began to experience depression, I thought about suicide. I mean, I can't say that. because I don't want YouTube to flag my video, but I thought about, doing things that was not appropriate, and it would not be God pleasing to God for sure. And so I began to call on different, other pastors and things to talk to them. And I remember I used to be up all night. I was scared to go to sleep because when I would go to sleep, I would see myself falling. Like in the dream, I would be falling. And I'm getting to my point, y'all. I promise y'all. But in the dream, I would be falling and I could just see a black hole and it would just be pitch black. And then I wake up. And then the next night, I would have a dream of me. I don't know where I would be, but it would be somewhere dark and I could just see like somebody chasing me. It's like somebody's shooting me. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? So then I began to take pills so that I could stay awake all day, all night. Cause I was just like, I would have to get up and take my kids to school. And I was just like, how am I gonna deal with this? So I began to start smoking marijuana. And I would wake up smoking, I would go to bed smoking, I would smoke in the middle of the day. I got to the point where I was even smoking, taking my kids to school. I would smoke on my way back home. Just anything, just trying to fill that void. Like I didn't understand, what I was going through. And I didn't realize, what it was? I had a calling on my life, to change my life for God. And I was just like, girl, you better get it together because you got to lose your mind. I was starting to see stuff moving on the wall. I was hearing voices. I was just like, and I began to smoke even more because my mind was everywhere. But y'all, that didn't help. That didn't help at all. That only made the situation worse. So I started going to church heavily again. I was just crying and crying and crying. And the pastors and the church members would come and they would pray for me. And then I would go back home. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. Y'all, I feel like somebody's after me. I feel like somebody's trying to kill me. And I was just like, this is crazy. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't even want my kids to know, but my kids were seeing this behavior that I was doing that they were not used to. Like, who smokes in front of their kids? Who does that, And the thing that I was going through, I didn't even care. I didn't even care if my kids smelled it, if they seen it, which they did. But it was just a hard time, and I was just like, I don't know what to do with this depression. So I said, you know what? I've tried everything else. I've tried everything else except for God. So let me just try God. Let me just see if God can get me out of this darkness, y'all. So as I began to start reading my Bible, and I began to pray a lot, and I began to talk to God a lot, and I asked God to take that habit that I had that I could not shake. I asked God to take it away because that drug, it leads to something else. And I'm so glad that, God saved me in a time where I felt like I was just really getting after it, because I was just like, and I wasn't doing joints, I was doing blunts, whole ones by myself. I didn't want to share with nobody. I just wanted to, that's all I wanted to do. And I was like, I can't get rid of this habit. I can't be doing this in front of my kids. I'm supposed to be setting an example. This is not an example of me wilding out doing these type of things because I'm depressed, And I felt like I wasn't happy. And I didn't want to be around people. You know how they say misery love company? I didn't want any company. I just wanted to be by myself, And so with that being said, guys, I began to pray and I just really began to start seeking God and how God delivered me from smoking. I smoked for years. God delivered me from cursing. I don't curse. I haven't cursed and I can't even remember, and it don't even come to my mind. Like I said, God, I pray. It's like, God, can you please, if I take a step, you said if I take one step, you'll take two steps. So God began to help me to stop smoking. It wasn't overnight. So I'm just letting you know, but you have to take the effort to put one foot forward to say, okay, I'm going to try. You can't just say, okay, God, I'm just going to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to say, God, forgive me. It don't work like that. So I and I felt like I was depressed a lot because of the things that I dealt with in my childhood. And of course being an adult as well, but it carried what I went through in my childhood, it carried over to my adulthood. And I'm just like, I don't want my kids to go through this. I don't want my kids to have to endure some of the things that I had to endure, you know. So that was kind of hard, but to say the least, guys, I mean, God helped me. Like, now the relationship that I have with God is better than the relationship I had with God when I was a kid. But going through those trials as a kid, it helped mold me over to being an adult, if that makes sense. And I was just like, God, I can never thank God enough for things that He's brought me out of. I've been in dire situations where I had to be life flighted. And they didn't know if I was going to make it. And they were just like, if you don't make it to the hospital, which it was only going to take 5 minutes to get to the hospital. And they were like, if you don't make it to the hospital, who do you want to get your kids? And y'all, I mean, that was like, that really woke me up. And I was just praying in my mind, God, if you take me, God, please, let somebody take care of my kids. And God, please just forgive me for all my sins. I began to repent. Because by the time they told me I had been stabbed. I'm sorry. I had been stabbed. And they wanted to cut me open to see how far, the stab wound had went. So I went through that situation. I went through a situation of being shot at. Your girl done been in a club where people were just shooting up the club. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't. I'm not gonna say that because I don't want YouTube to flag me. But people were just doing, things that they shouldn't have been doing. I'm just saying, like the positions I put myself in. Where times I could have been gone a long, long time ago. I done been in car wrecks. I done been in deals gone wrong. Me trying to be out there, trying to be a little baller, trying to be a little shot caller. Doing things I had no business doing, running behind people trying to get my money because they done snatched the product and didn't pay for it. If y'all get what I'm saying. I done did a whole lot of things where I should have been gone a long time ago. But all that bound up to be, like, I wouldn't change anything that I went through from mentally, like almost having a mental breakdown and scared I was gonna get shot. Kept seeing myself getting shot over and over and over. Kept seeing myself fall, and I'm just falling in this black hole. But I think that was God telling me, you need to get your life together. Because if you don't, then when you're on the devil's playground, you ain't got no insurance. You open season. You have no protection. But to say the least, guys, I just want to encourage somebody. If you're going through something and you don't want to reach out to nobody, reach out to God. Learn to pray. Read your Bible. Learn His voice. So when there's nobody else around, you can talk to Him. You can hear that small, still voice. And I'm going to tell my testimony wherever I go. I'm not embarrassed of the things that I've been through. If you look at me, you be like, she ain't been through nothing. I done been through a lot. I have plenty of testimonies. Even the testimony about me building my home, having everything. I had everything boxed up. I moved from Oklahoma to Texas. I had everything boxed up in my house for over a year. Because you know why? Because God had told me I was moving. That where I was staying, that was not my home. So I said, oh, okay, that was a testament, a trial that I went through. Okay, are you going to believe God that you're going to move? That was my first time I think I ever, God had ever spoke something to me and told me something that I was going to do that nobody else believed but me. Nobody believed it. And I got to say, y'all, I even started questioning myself. I had people come over, they were laughing at me. They was like, when you go to her house, she got everything boxed up, the shoes, clothes, all that stuff been boxed up over a year and she's still here. But where am I now, y'all? I'm in Texas. I'm not in Oklahoma. So God came through. you know. And I'll tell you guys maybe their testimony another time. I don't want to make the video too long, but I just kind of want to talk to you guys about being depression. So my words of encouragement to you, if you're going through depression, guys, reach out to somebody. You only need one person to talk to. One person. Everybody got to have somebody to talk to. It's when we keep everything all bottled in. And right now, with everything that's going on, it's so many people that's just, just doing things to themselves, and then there's no coming back from that. So, hopefully my, testimony help somebody how I overcame. I overcame by my testimony. By sharing my testimony with different people, the things that I've been through, the mental part that I went through, the depression. I didn't even want to admit that I was depressed. I was depressed. I was. Looking at it back, I look at it now, way back then, I was really depressed. And nobody wants to talk about it, and everybody wants to feel like they're okay, or you need to go to therapy. But what about if you can't afford therapy? Then what do you do? But I tell you, I know somebody, my God, and he don't even charge, it's free. I encourage you, if you're going through something, this too shall pass. You'll get through it. We all have to go through things, but we're overcomers by our testimony. If you don't go through a test, you don't have a testimony. So I'm going to leave you guys with that being said. I don't know, how people will feel about this video, but it's okay. As long as I have one somebody. I'm not trying to save the world. That's not my job. That's God's job. I just want to have one somebody. And with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my testimony, how I overcame depression, anxiety. It's because I gave my life to God. I took one step, he took two. I hope that I hope it helps somebody. Until then, guys, stay blessed. Have a blessed day. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.